Guys, how we doing? My name's Bixler. I'm a senior product consultant here with AutoAlert. Been in the automotive industry now for about 8 years through various companies and corporations. Always having a focus of helping dealerships identify the data that they might not be taking advantage of right now. Right? Identifying opportunity that we might not be looking at right now. First off, I want to thank Matt and team for putting this whole conference together, letting me get a chance to come up here and speak to you guys, as well as Mike DeLay and the AutoAlert team that's watching back on the live stream right now. All right? So my goal with this presentation is to get you guys to go back and put more focus on your sold customer base. Right? In my ideal world, where are we going? In my ideal world, you go back to your dealership and you'd be putting as much emphasis on your sold customers as you do conquesting new business. All right? In our industry, we've had the tendency of putting a lot of emphasis on conquesting new business, which we all know it's justified, right? We have to. All right? We're all in the business of sales here. All right? I got to sell more cars this month than I did last month. I got to sell more cars this quarter than I did last quarter. And more importantly, I got to sell more cars this year than I did last year. Right? And the way we've done that has always been the same, and it's never going to change. It's taking the ups as we can and closing them at a high rate. Right? That's the pillar of our industry. Eat, greet, put them in the seat. Fuel more wheels, sell more wheels. The problem is, the traditional customer path has always looked something like this. But in today's market, the customer's become a lot more savvy, and it resembles a little bit something more like this now. Right? That's why nowadays, as GMs, e-commerce directors, BDC managers, GSMs, we now have to be experts in many more fields than we ever had to be in the past. Right? We got to know about website design, SEM, SEO, social, PPC. Now that's why if I come to your dealership and I ask you these questions, what's your number one lead source? How many monthly visitors are you getting on your website? How many of those visitors are unique? Right? What's your bounce rate? Importantly, bounce rate on your page compared to BDP pages. Right? I can ask you these questions and you'll rattle off the answers one by one, right, with pride. However, if I ask you one question, and again, I'm in dealerships every single day, hundreds a year, I start off every single presentation with the same question. Right? Do you know how you're following up with your sold customer base? Do you know how you're following up with your sold customer base? Because I'll tell you, 9 out of 10 times, I get one of two answers. I get A, I don't know, or B, an admission that it's one of the weakest aspects of their dealership. And maybe I'm the crazy one, but isn't it easier to sell an existing customer than it is to try and conquest a new one? Right? Isn't that sales 101? You treat the first customer right, you ask for referrals, sell those referrals when the time comes, you go back and sell the original customer. So why aren't we putting more of an emphasis on these customers? Right? Why aren't we putting more of an emphasis on this database? Our OEMs certainly are. Our OEMs are definitely paying attention. The OEMs are spending millions of dollars this year on customer retention because they know you've already done the hard part. You've done the hard part. You get that customer to get off their ass, come to your dealership, and say yes to you. They have already came to your dealership and said yes. And in an industry where your customer would rather go to the dentist and get a root canal than come to you at your dealership, getting that yes is a pretty big deal. All right, so consider this. NADA tells us the average cost of customer acquisition is about $650, right? That's your marketing, employees, all your overhead going in there. $650. So let's say you have a database of about 10,000 customers in your DMS. About 100 to 120 cars a month for 7 to 8 year time period. All right? That's a $6.5 million investment. $6.5 million investment. All right? My question to you is, what other number in your dealership eclipses that? Maybe your building, maybe the land that you sit on. All right, why aren't we putting a focus on these customers? More importantly, what are you doing to maximize the profitability of that database? Now, some of you guys might be sitting there and kind of come to that realization that, maybe I'm not sure I'm doing what I'm doing with my customers. Or maybe I could improve on some of the follow-up process I have in my place right now. Likely have something going on in the back. You likely have a safety net in place, and that's your CRM processes. right? Running automatically in the background. The problem is these CRM processes are criminally outdated, right? And before I go further, keep in mind, I'm a huge fan of the CRMs in our industry, right? That's how I got into the automotive industry. But what's one piece of technology that you used for the last 10 years? Right? Your phone, your car. Yet we rely on these processes that were built 5 to 10 years ago to follow up with our most valuable asset inside of the dealership. Right? So that's where data mining comes into play. Right? When I started putting this presentation together, I started going online to Google and I started looking for different definitions of what is data mining. Right? The first one I came up with or found, it's a little bit vague, but it says it's the practice of examining large databases in order to generate new information. Right? Wasn't digging it. A little bit there, but not much. I found a second definition in a blog on a UCLA online blog. It's the process of analyzing data from different perspectives and summarizing it into useful information. Information that can be used to either cut costs, increase revenue, or both. Now that's the one I like. That's pretty good there. The thing is, in our industry, we've had a tendency of making data mining and equity mining synonymous. Right, but here's my definition of data mining. It's using your data to communicate value to your current customers on a consistent basis. I mean, doesn't that seem like a little simpler, a little bit more applicable to our industry? The problem is when trying to communicate that message, our customers have become so disengaged, so tuned out from the message that we send them, they're not even listening anymore. Right? Think about the content we send out to our customers right now. We're sending out happy anniversary or on a vehicle they traded in 6 months ago. Right? We're giving out service appointments or service reminders on a car that was just in service 2 days ago. Yet we wonder why our customers no longer respond to our emails, why they no longer answer our phone calls, or why they get our mail and they throw it right in the trash. Because the last 20 touch points we've had with that customer have been completely irrelevant to their current situation. One thing I want to mention right here, again, I kind of touched on it once, but again, I'm going to double down. Equity mining and data mining are not the same thing. And I'll tell you this, if you're using a data provider that solely bases their opportunity off equity position, you need to change your strategy ASAP. Right? Because the equity position of a customer doesn't even begin to tell us half of the true opportunity that that customer is. At the very least, we need to be looking at these customers the same lens that they are. Right? And that's payment threshold. I think we all know the modern car shopper today, or the car buyer today, and really people in general, they base their monthly budget on cash flow. So why not look at it in the same light that the customer is? Got two example customers here, customer A, customer B. Customer A purchased their vehicle less than 2 years ago. They got $1,700 worth of inequity. Customer B, on the other hand, is currently paying $956. They've been into your service drive 8 times in the last 18 months, and I can get them into a brand new car and lower their monthly payment by $64. I mean, it's pretty easy, but which customer would you rather call, right? When in reality, this is the same customer. So you can see that equity position doesn't begin to tell us the opportunity that that customer is. We'd likely miss that deal if we solely look at equity. Another one, customer A, customer B here. Customer A's only got 6 payments left on that vehicle, and they have $4,200 worth of positive equity in it. Customer B, on the other hand, is currently paying $234. Now I can get them into something brand new, but I'm going to have to up their payment by $165. And again, taking a look at these customers, who are we calling? I think we all know where we're going with this here, but it's the same customer again. So if you're basing your strategy solely off equity, you're likely spinning your wheels talking to a customer with an irrelevant conversation. At the very least, what we need to be able to do is take a look at your data and cross-reference it with the open market. Right? What are the current rates and residuals on the vehicle? Right? What additional incentives have your OEMs put on that vehicle to help you move it? Or what incentives have you as a dealer put on the hood of that to move that unit? Right? At AutoAlert, we base all of our upgrade opportunities to MSRP for obvious reasons, right? More gross potential, more room to negotiate once we get the customer into the store. But what if it's the end of the month? You need to sell 10 more cars to hit a certain tier with your OEM, and you're willing to sell those vehicles at invoice plus 500. You need to have a tool that can be able to match that goal on the spot, on the fly with you. So when your OEM comes out with an additional $1,500 incentive on insert make model, wouldn't you like to know that it just created 500 additional customers that can now upgrade out of their vehicle they're in now into a brand new one for no money down, keeping their payment the same? My question to you would be, of those 500 new customers, who wouldn't you want to tell? Right? I mean, I challenge you to sit there and tell me you wouldn't want to let every single one of those 500 customers know about the amazing new opportunity they now have with your dealership to get into a brand new vehicle and lower their payment at the same time. When you put together a proper data mining strategy, when we look at the data in the right context, it creates several different revenue streams inside of the dealership. But for right now, I'm going to focus on my original point, and that's identifying what customers we can upgrade for no money down to keep their payment about the same. You know, I'm going too fast there. So studying 3,500 dealerships, what we found out when looking at their DMS data is anywhere between 15 to 20% of your database is in a position that they can upgrade into a new vehicle. 15 to 20%. Let's look at that and compare it to the standard internet lead of the BDC team. Right? What's a good BDC close? 8, 10, maybe 15% of their internet leads. Yet our dealers that are using proper data mining strategies are seeing closing percentages anywhere from 9 to 41%. Right? And that shouldn't surprise anybody in this room. We have a real story. We have something real to say to these customers. So now that we have this opportunity, right? Now that we have this 20% of customers that we can upgrade into a brand new car, here comes the hard part. You know, how do we let them know? How do we let these customers know? But more importantly, how do we consistently let these customers know without burning them out to the message? Right? Because the whole goal here is to have engaged, lifelong customers. The last thing I want to do is have them disengage and start tuning our message out again. This is one thing I like to mention here at this point. You know, data mining is a process. It's not a campaign. Right? Data mining is a process. It's not a campaign. And the reason I bring this up, I see dealers all the time that utilize their data, create a campaign off it to hit up an objective. Or worse yet, they use data, they create a campaign blindly with no real objective in mind and pray for this valuable asset. Right? Don't do that. Don't do that. Now, data mining is a process. It's not a campaign. Now that's why when I'm in a dealership, I put more emphasis on their sold process than I do their marketing budget. Data mining is a process, it's not a campaign. Right? And this process should be multi-channeled. Email, phone, mail, targeted digital ads, if that's the sort of thing you're into, whatever it is, it has to be consistent. Right? It has got to be consistent. I think the traditional word track or communication that we see out of these campaigns is one we're all familiar with, right? It's the vehicle buyback program. Right? Hey, John, it's Luke's here at Ford. Hey, man, I was taking a look at your contracts here. I think you have, what is that, 3 payments left on that 2011 Taurus, paying $447. Is that right? Now, John, the reason I'm giving you a call today, I actually have someone who is specifically looking at that car. It's the right color, it's the right trim, it's the one that they're after. I'm having a tough time finding it. Man, if you could do me this favor and let me buy that car back from you, I think I could get you into a brand new one and lower your monthly payment. Make it a little cheaper. I mean, show of hands, who's seen this kind of strategy? Who's used this strategy in the past? Quite a few of you guys. And it's a powerful message. I mean, it is a powerful message. It does a really good job of driving the customers back to the dealership. And the stores that I have that are implementing a strategy like this, they're starting it earlier and earlier in the process. Right? Even going to the point of delivery with the original vehicle. You know, plant that seed early and often while you still have the customer in the dealership. You know, now before I let them go, now I say, hey, John, man, congratulations on that new Taurus. Dude, that is a beautiful 2017 Taurus. I'll tell you what, we have a tough time finding these tools. The one you got with that color, that trim, dude, we have a tough time finding those cars. We cannot find them. I mean, I find a couple at auction, but yeah, they got too many miles on them, or it's a rent-a-car. We like to buy our cars right back from our own customers. We know you're going to treat them right. John, if it's okay with you, in a couple of years, I may have one of my vehicle acquisition specialists reach out to you about buying that car back. Is that okay with you? You know, have that conversation early, because it does 2 things for us, right? 1, it plants the seed in that customer's mind before they ever leave the dealership, right? When they're still in the ether, while they're still excited about that new purchase. But 2, it sets up future conversation that we're going to have with that customer. Every touch point has now been set up because of that process. Right now, a couple of years go by, maybe 18 months goes by. Now I'm reaching out to John. Hey, man, I hope you're still liking that Taurus. We're not quite ready to buy that thing back from you, but we want to make sure you're keeping it clean. I know here in a couple months, dude, my pre-order manager's been looking for those cars. Just hold tight for a second. Right? 2, 3, 4 months goes by. Now I start calling the customer again. Now he's an opportunity that I can upgrade. Now I'm saying, John, man, hey, dude, I'm looking around. Dude, today's the day. John, today is the day. I can take you out of that current vehicle. Dude, I can get you into the brand new one for no money, and I can even lower your payment by about 20, 30 bucks. Save a little cash. I just want to make sure you knew about that, but today is the day to do it. Right? Again, this is a powerful message, and it's worked for a long time. The one caveat with it, the one issue I have with that process and that message, that there is a burn rate on it. Right? There is a burn rate, meaning I can't simply come to you month after month and say, today's the day. Lucas, this is the month. Right now, you got to do this right now. This is the best time. That trade is never going to be worth more than it is right now. Right? Eventually, I catch on to your angle, and I eventually tune out to your message, which is, again, the exact thing we're looking to avoid. All right, we're looking for lifelong engaged customers here. In that last kind of example, you saw me using the phone call, right? How hard is it to get you guys to get on the phone and make a call? All right, we can give a sales team the absolute lowest hanging opportunities, basically picking them up off the ground, and they still just go through the CRM, they get the big list, and they just put left message on every customer, right? Or they put LVM, because they're even too damn lazy to type out left message in the CRM. Right, problem is, this is only going to get worse. This problem's only going to get worse. That's one reason you're looking at it. It's millennials. Right? And consider, keep in mind, I'm a millennial telling you this myself. We don't like making phone calls. I don't like answering phone calls. I don't answer the phone call unless I have to. Right? To the point my parents can call me, and unless they text me ahead of time and let me know what we're talking about, I'll probably just screen it and let them go get to them later. Right? It's messed up, but it's true. So the chances of me answering your unknown phone number when it calls me are slim to none. Slim to none, and I'm not alone here. So what is your plan for this, right? Because I'm sure some of you guys are starting to hire more and more millennials to work at your dealerships. Right? Millennials who don't want to make phone calls. Right? Millennials that are the largest generation since the baby boomers. So now we have millennials who don't want to make phone calls, and we're trying to ask them to call other millennials who are now coming into the market and having more buying power, who don't want to answer the phone call. All right, what's your plan for this? What's your plan when you look into the future and you start thinking about these millennials? It's definitely something to think about. But for right now, back to my original point, and that is, how do we let this 20% of customers know that we can upgrade them into a new car? Right? We have the phone call, which we just discussed. Right? We have text messaging, which Bobby laid out for us earlier. It's basically like walking through a minefield right now. And don't get me wrong, the juice is definitely worth the squeeze if you get to the other side. All right, we got email, which has always been the preferred method of contact. Right? It's cheap. It's traffic. We can drive traffic right back to the website. But one issue with email in our industry right now is deliverability. Right? We all know being blacklisted is a huge issue in our industry. It kind of reminds me of the old advertising quote. I know half my advertising dollars are being wasted. I just don't know which half it is. Right? So deliverability is one issue with the email side of things. The other issue is grabbing my attention through email is getting increasingly difficult. When I look at my personal Gmail account, right, I have over 1,200 unread emails. And I can tell you that number's not going to go down anytime soon. All right, so grabbing my attention through email is becoming increasingly difficult. All right, so we had to find a way to get this information out to our customers consistently and again without burning them out. Right, and the way, the proven method that we're seeing and the most success we're seeing is with something that's going to surprise you, because I'll tell you this, it surprised me. It's the mailbox. Right, it's the mailbox, old school, direct mail, snail mail, it's back. Right, it is absolutely back. The thing is, consider this, direct mail isn't dead, junk mail is. Right, think about that for a second. Direct mail is not dead, junk mail is. Right, again, I don't answer my phone calls, or I don't answer my phone on a regular basis. Right, I'm drowning in emails every single month, but what do I do every single day when I get home from work? I check my mailbox. Every single day. Right, the thing is, I've gotten so good at it, as I'm walking back into the house, I'm shuffling it back and forth to my two piles. Right, on my one hand, I got stuff that's relevant to me. I got my bills, my statements, stuff that's going into the house. The other 2/3 of it's going right in the recycling bin before I get to the garage. Right, it's my newspaper, it's my flyers, my direct mail, anything that doesn't pertain to me. All right, that's where our scratches, that's where our flyers, that's where our direct mail is going right now. right, so the question was, how do we utilize the mailboxes? I'm checking it every day. How do I utilize this? But how do I get your message? More importantly, get your offer to the customer into those 5 pieces that make it into my house. Right, and this is one of the biggest aha moments I've ever had in my career. We were sitting around in the room, and finally we came up with it, make it a statement. Make it a statement. And here's what I mean. Look at some of the fields that are coming out of the DMS right now. Right, you got customer name and address. You got year, make, model of the vehicle that they're driving. Right, you got payment, payments remaining, contract end, estimated mileage because they're servicing with me. I got their warranty expiration, and I know their last service date. What's all that look like? Right, it's a statement. It's a statement on the customer's vehicle. And the thing is, oops, I'm getting ahead of myself here. As a consumer, we're getting statements on everything. Right, we're getting statements on your credit card bill. We're getting statements on our phone bill. We're getting statements on our mortgage. Right, we see statements everywhere. Here. Now, we've done a lot of A/B testing to get this statement to where it is now. But let me show you kind of what I mean and how we break it down. We'll top down the header and the envelope. Right? Notice it's not coming out from the OEM or the dealership. It's coming out from the OEM. It's coming out from the OEM because, again, the unfortunate truth is your customers have completely disengaged from our message. Right? So if I put your dealership logo up there instead of the OEM, the chances of them opening it up are slim to none. Next section down, the statement. The statement that's been exclusively provided and prepared for you, Mr. and Mrs. Customer. This reassures the customer, reaffirms them why they're opening up this piece, because it's relevant information to the vehicle that they're driving right now. Right, and finally, the offer. Right, in reality, the entire statement, it's a Trojan horse. Right, the entire statement, it's a Trojan horse just to get that offer into your customer's hands. Right, disguised with relevant information that the customer cares about. Now, I can tell you a little story that really helped me, kind of make sense of this whole statement. I was talking with my mom, and I was showing her the statement. I get excited. I was showing it to her. I was, explaining what it meant, looking at it, and finally, she kind of slowed me down and said, "Lucas, and she was real nice about it. Isn't this kind of basic? There's not a lot there. It's not very flashy. I wouldn't call it a sales piece. So I had to kind of step back and help her explain why we're going in this route. Right? I asked her, Mom, do you get statements on your phone bill every month? Do you look at it? She said, yeah, usually, most of the time. Now, what about your monthly mortgage statement? You look at that? Yeah, usually every time. What about your monthly credit card statement? You take a peek at that too? Yeah, absolutely. So I asked her, aren't those pretty basic? Yeah, she said. And she still wasn't quite getting it. So I said, think about it like this. Think about you get that credit card statement every month. Now imagine at the bottom of that statement it said, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, if you pay $500 this month right now, we'll wipe out the rest of your balance. Right? That's what this statement does. Right? This statement is the ultimate Trojan horse. Again, disguised with relevant information that pertains to the customer. Best part about it, it actually conditions your customers to look for this information. Right? Now we're sending this out to them consistently. They're getting familiar with it to the point if they don't see it, they're questioning where's it at, what's going on. Right? That's what I mean when I say data mining is a process, it's not a campaign. Right? Data mining is a process, it's not a campaign. So now that we've kind of set the foundation, let's look at some of those other revenue streams we were talking about. All right? How about warranty? Did you know that once that warranty expires, 80% of your customers defect to another shop? As soon as that warranty expires, 80% you will never see again on the service drive. What are we doing with those customers? Right? Isn't that a relevant touch point to have with that customer? Now I can call John and say, John, man, dude, I was looking at your contract. John, it looks like you only have 2 months left on your warranty. John, what I was thinking, let's get you in here to the dealership. Dude, let's take a good look at that car. I want to make sure we take a good care of you. I want to make sure we find everything before that warranty expires. I don't want you paying for something 2, 3, 4 months after that warranty expires that we could have taken care of right now. Right? Have that conversation with your customer. Treat that customer right. Provide value to that customer. Because now once we get them into the store, now we have them here with their vehicle, we got 2 options. One, I'm going to try and upgrade them into a new vehicle. right? Because they're likely an upgrade opportunity. They're likely in a position to swap keys with me. So that's my first conversation with that customer, right? But two, why not get them into an extended warranty? Right? If that customer's happy with what he's in now I can have that conversation. John, man, you've been into the service drive 8 times in the last 18 months. Dude, your warranty expires in 2 months here. Let's get you on an extended warranty. Let's make sure we keep you protected. All right, let's have that conversation with our customers. All right, how about lease? Now again, quick show of hands, who has at least a 10% lease penetration at their store right now? I'll see a couple of you guys. How are we following up with these customers? Right, what are we doing with our lease customers? How are we getting them back in? How are we retaining them? Right, what are we doing? Waiting 6 months? On that customer once a month till the lease matures? How about a customer that's on pace to have a mileage penalty? You know, how about a customer that's on pace to have a $1,500 mileage penalty? Is that a relevant touch point to have with that customer? Right, not to mention when we match a mileage penalty with an upgrade opportunity, we're seeing a 41% closing percentage on these opportunities. You call 2 of these customers, you're likely to close 1. Right, how about service? Right, everybody's got a service to sales process, right? Did you know that 20% of your customers coming in the back door are in an upgrade opportunity whether they bought from you or not? I mean, think 20% of the customers walking through the back door every single day can upgrade painlessly into a new vehicle for no money down and get their payment lowered. You have 50 hours a day, that's 10 customers walking through the back door every single day that we may or may not be talking to right now, or we may or may not be giving the right message to right now. Right, 2017, it's going to be the year of retention. Right, 2017 will be the year of retention. Don't get me wrong, we are always going to be conquering new business. We have to. Right, but as national sales start to decline or even flat, that pond that we're all fishing right now, it's starting to dry up more and more. Right, to the point that it feels like we're competing against everybody. Right, and the unfortunate truth is, even more competitors are now coming into the market. Competitors we've never had to face in the past. All right, so if I leave you with one thing, it's pay attention to your customers. Right, talk to your customers. Show love to your customers. Take care of these customers. Because if you're not, you're likely spinning your wheels doing the hard part to get that original yes without reaping any of the benefits or rewards later on in the process. Guys, thank you. My name is Bixler. Again, I'm a senior product with AutoAlert. Thank you for your time here.